After the harvest season, John and local farmers organized a wild boar hunting trip. The past season saw significant crop damage caused by these animals, a persistent nightmare for farmers. This fueled our determination to eliminate this destructive species. So what are we waiting for? Join the hunters on this thrilling adventure. In today's hunting trip, alongside the farmers, professional hunters also joined the group. The team swiftly headed toward the mountains to track their targets. Wild boars typically move in packs, making it easier to determine their direction. The battle officially began, with rifle barrels aimed directly at the herd of boars charging up the hillside. Despite their panic, they instinctively followed the lead boar, a notable trait of the species. Through tight coordination, nearly a dozen wild boars were taken down, a result that exceeded the team's expectations. From a mountain peak high, the team could survey the entire area and quickly spot any unusual activity. Sure enough, it wasn't hard to notice a few wild boars fleeing on the other side of the ridge. There they are. Did they think they could escape? That's absolutely impossible. A few hours later, John moved to a new position to wait for his prey. From a high vantage point overlooking the ravine, a sleeping wild boar came into view. Fortunately, this spot allowed him to target the animal from a few hundred meters away. John easily executed a shot accurate to the centimeter. As expected, he effortlessly claimed another trophy. In the distance, a few familiar dark shapes flickered in and out of sight. Despite the challenge of distance, the team's years of experience allowed them to aim accurately. Watching each wild boar fall, John and his teammates grew increasingly exhilarated. A few nearby wild boars, startled by the gunfire, scurried into dense foliage, but the hunting team didn't hesitate to pursue. Carefully spotting a hidden boar, Max, the team member, chose a favorable shooting angle and fired. In just one afternoon, they bagged several wild boars, most of which were impressively large, delighting everyone. Relentless stalking and surprise ambushes gave John's team a higher success rate with their shots. One shot, one kill. This time, the hunting trip ended earlier than expected, as it's not a task that can be completed in just a few days. In the coming time, they'll surely need to put in even more effort to reduce the number of these destructive pests. The video ends here. Which moment in today's video impressed you the most? Leave a comment below to share your thoughts. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming thrilling hunts. Goodbye and see you next time. In Sweden, the vast forests aren't just home to moose and brown bears, they're also a breeding ground for one of the most destructive invaders: wild boars. With rapid reproduction, incredible adaptability, and near unbeatable survival instincts, these animals are becoming a nightmare for farmers. It's estimated that the wild boar population in Sweden has exceeded 300,000, a staggering number considering the country's arable land. In response, the Swedish government has loosened hunting regulations, allowing hunters to control the population year-round. And today, I'm taking you on an intense hunt through these wild woods. Let's get started. We had high hopes for today's hunt. My friends and I headed into the remote forests of southern Sweden, a hotspot for wild boar activity, and the scene of constant damage to local farms. As we reached one of the most isolated spots on the mountain, we spotted a group of wild boars almost immediately. Without hesitation, we got into position. The first shots rang out, echoing through the woods. Although most of the boars scattered, a few didn't escape in time. We kept moving, scanning for new targets. Suddenly, a boar darted through the trees. I raised my rifle in an instant. Perfect shot. It tumbled and dropped to the ground, a clean takedown in a tense moment. While continuing our search, a group of wild boars suddenly burst out in front of us, likely startled by our presence. Reflex kicked in. I quickly aimed and fired. One target down. It wasn't the biggest, but it was enough to boost my morale for the battles ahead. The noise and scent of gunpowder clearly spooked the herd. They scattered in every direction. We split up and managed to take down a few more as they tried to flee. Lying low in ambush, I heard a faint rustle. A boar had entered my sights. From a good vantage point, I lined up the shot. One clean pull of the trigger, swift and precise. The target dropped instantly. Not the biggest prize, but a solid result. The sound of gunfire echoed through the forest, triggering more movement. Other boars began to appear. Every shot required complete focus. We aimed to drop any that showed themselves. With my trusty rifle in hand, I pushed through thick brush and spotted another wild boar. Chamber loaded, I steadied myself and pulled the trigger. Moments later, a few dark shadows darted through the bushes nearby. I tracked them and fired multiple rounds, adding more trophies to our tally. After a series of intense encounters, we pressed on. Luck was on our side today. Another boar moved slowly across an open patch. No way we were letting that chance slip by. A quick shot, and it was down. We immediately spread out to widen our search area. From time to time, gunshots cracked through the forest, a clear signal that someone in the group had just made another hit. You see, wild boars love dense, tangled areas, so we decided to sweep the surrounding underbrush, hoping to flush something out. Out of nowhere, a dark shadow charged straight at me, fast, frantic, and wild. Luckily, I was ready. I reacted just in time. A perfect headshot. The boar dropped mere inches away from me. Heart pounding. I knew I'd just dodged a real threat. No time to dwell on it. I had to stay sharp. Its pack could be close. And sure enough, there. This time, my shot was even quicker and cleaner. The hunt wasn't over yet. A large, fast wild boar tried to weave through the trees, looking for an escape route. I couldn't let that happen. One more gunshot rang out and the boar was down. After a long, exhausting day, all our effort had paid off. We successfully eliminated a good number of wild boars from the area.
Wild boars have become a real nightmare for farmers in Brazil. Cornfields, the lifeblood of many families, are constantly being destroyed. The government has started to relax hunting regulations, but with their rapid reproduction rate, it's the locals, those who live and fight this battle every day, who are determined enough to act. That's why, on our free days, we gather and plan hunting trips, hoping to bring a bit of peace back to the crops. Join us on today's wild boar hunting adventure. Early in the morning, we quickly geared up and headed toward the hill near the cornfields, a spot known as the usual hideout of the boars after their nighttime rampage. It didn't take long before we spotted one from afar. This was a chance we couldn't miss. I chambered around and bam, the first boar went down clean. We pushed deeper into the woods, following the trail of our hunting dogs. Their barking grew more intense. They had found something. I rushed to the scene, and with a precise shot, a few more targets were taken down. They weren't the biggest, but they were great trophies nonetheless. But not all wild boars move in groups. Sometimes they split up, forcing us to divide into smaller teams for a more thorough approach. In one tense moment, I had to make a snap decision, taking the shot just as a boar poked its head out of the bushes. A nerve-wracking moment, but I nailed it. Our dogs then led us to another hill. The boars seemed to sense something and began to flee, darting from one hill to the next. The chase dragged on, but we didn't back down. We kept firing from a distance. A real challenge, but we managed to bring down a good number of them. This is the thrill of the hunt. The deeper we went, the more intense the barking became. We knew the boars were close. It was no surprise, this part of the forest was a stronghold. As soon as I spotted one, I fired off several rounds. It was fast, too fast, and I had to tail it for quite a while before finally taking it down. Persistence paid off. We hunted relentlessly. Every fallen boar gave us more motivation. While scanning the area, a big, healthy boar stepped into my sights. It was moving quickly, unaware of the danger nearby. A perfect headshot dropped it instantly. Some tried to run, but we spotted them quickly. No hesitation, we pulled the trigger, and one after another, they fell. And then, there they were, at the forest's edge, a whole group of wild boars foraging for food. I adjusted my aim, picked a target, and fired. One clean hit. The rest scattered in panic. disappearing into the woods. These boars pop up everywhere. No corner is truly safe. I didn't waste a single opportunity. Every time they appeared, gunfire rang out. Sure, the sound made them scatter in chaos. But in those moments, we brought down even more. We stayed persistent, firing as long as we could, trying to take out as many as possible. Though it feels like we came out on top today, the war against wild boars is far from over. We know all too well, if we don't act, the fields will be torn apart again tomorrow.
In the forested mountains of the Pyrenees, France, where endless woods stretch across the land, a hidden threat lurks in the shadows. Giant wild boars. They're not just a nightmare for local farmers, but a real danger to the entire ecosystem. Over the past year alone, nearly 2,000 hectares of farmland in the Pyrenees have been ravaged by wild boars, causing damages of over €4 million. These animals don't just destroy crops, they attack livestock and pose a serious threat to human safety. We couldn't sit back and watch any longer. It was time to act. At the break of dawn, we arrived at the rendezvous point, a sparse winter forest. The bare trees opened up our field of vision, making it much easier to spot our targets. Once we found the perfect ambush spot, the entire team fell into silence, patiently waiting. Only the sound of cold wind rustling through dry branches broke the stillness. Then suddenly they appeared. A large herd of wild boars moving toward the forest's edge, led by a full defeated.
After a short rest, we continued the hunt. The whole team was still very enthusiastic and participating in the chase. The herd of boars was continuously defeated. Finally, after a long day of chasing and hunting, we defeated many large wild boars. The battle may not be over, but today we are the winners. Early the next morning, we went to an area with more lush grass. This was also an ideal place to hunt wild boars. We crept through the bushes and found a herd of wild boars leisurely foraging. Hiding behind the bushes, we observed a huge wild boar. We quickly chose a favorable position and opened fire. The huge wild boar immediately struggled and fell. That made us more excited than ever. The cunning wild boars wanted to take the opportunity to escape. However, we discovered them in time. A rain of bullets poured down. The black shadows were lying motionless on the ground. Based on the gluttonous habits of this pig, we decided to set up a feeding trough and a water tank in an open space near the edge of the forest. Then, find a suitable location to hide and observe the situation. An hour passed. The wild boars really appeared. They devoured the food without knowing that this was just a trap. After identifying the target, an accurate shot was made, opening our hunting trip. It couldn't have been a better start for today's hunting trip.